celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one.
In this edition of Belize Watch, we continue our tour of the factory at Silkgrass Farms with Executive Director Dr. Henry Canton, Chief Engineer Jerry Williams, and Production Manager Dion Peters. We will have that for you after this break to hear from our partners, the Barry, Del Martin, Minister Kevin Bernard, and Silkgrass Farms.
It's the only way to go. We stay apart, then we have to fall. Count on you, count on one and all. It's not for you, not for me, it's not for we. It's not for you, not for me, it's not for we.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Vamos! Vamos bien con Kevin Bernard, Kevin Bernard, Kevin Bernard, Kevin Bernard. Champion, champion, Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, champion, champion. Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion. 2020, Kevin came with a vision. Executed well, is a man on a mission. The work continues with new innovation. Plan Belize 2.0 activation. Benefiting the West, North to South and East. Infrastructure and opportunities. Plenty get done, plenty more to come. Kevin Bernard, you can continue depend on. Champion, champion, Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, champion, champion. Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion. Sports development, woman empowerment, infrastructure, youth involvement. Heart of a champion, full confident. Astonishing leader, no argument. Relentlessly with a passion and drive. Natural born leader, no one gets deprived. Dedicated to serving and provide. Belize in good hands, no one can deny. Champion, champion, Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, champion, champion. Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion. Champion, 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 champion. Hey, one time for the champion. Hey, two time for the champion. Hey, three time for the champion. Hey, everybody shout it out loud now. Champion, champion, Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, champion, champion. Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion.
what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one.
Central to Silkgrass Farms is its state-of-the-art 130,000 square foot food processing facility. We continue our tour.
Remember outside we showed you the second come in? It comes in here, it's washed here, it goes up. This one takes you into orange. Orange, grapefruit, lime, lemon. These are the extraction units.
Okay. So this is where the juice is now.
Orange juice, the orange component of all our juices and our citrus components are extracted here. From here, where you went and visited the oil, the cold press oil, it goes from here out there. The material, the dump tank you saw out there, this conveyor go up and put the skin and seed and everything else in there, okay? So this is our citrus extraction, primary extraction unit. This gives us all the juices that we're gonna start working with making our juices.
How many bottles of products can we, you know the small bottle that I was drinking at the beginning, how many of those can you make in a day in here?
90,000.
90,000
That's what you just told us.
bottles a day of those little bottles. But do you actually work to full capacity?
And that's the whole thing with it, because it's multi-cropped. We have about 12 or 13 or 14 SKUs, and therefore he has to plan what the local market demands, what the foreign market's demanding, because I have a cold store where I'm storing all my raw material. So he has to bring back our raw material, prepare it, and bottle it. So the HPP machine that he's talking about is our restriction because of the speed at which it can roll. It takes about 15 minutes for a cycle. So there are only so many cycles that you could do. But what he has to do is say, my minimum cycle or run time for orange juice is this, and have a quantity that becomes a batch. And then he has to run that same day coconut water. So you're gonna see the CIP room, he has to clean up and go to coconut water. So in any one day in that blend room where we're going right now, he is able to do probably 2, 3, 4 different products. It's not going to be 90,000 because you have wash up in between and you have the preparation and that kind of stuff. The challenge for us right now is when the big demand come on, because we need to 2 years or 3 years from now, we need to be shipping 340-foot containers of product from this company.
But do we have that amount of product being produced in Belize, the raw product?
I said 3 years so that as we build, I can go and let the farmers start growing for me.
Okay.
I will contract farmers to grow my pineapples, my watermelons, and that sort of stuff.
So
it's a cycle. But it's a chicken and egg, because in order to do that, I have to have the market.
Yeah.
So we're working on the market now. Then I'm going to come back and say, I need so much of this, I need so much of that.
To fulfill the market demand.
And then
you got these efficient guys here who will make sure you got your...
Yeah, it's a learning, every day is a learning thing for us, because nobody has ever done this. When we put this together, he could tell you how much time we spent just deliberating on the possibility.
Yeah.
The problem with Jerry and I is that, and he's learning quickly, you don't say no. You don't say can't. And if you say can do it, time. And that's where engineering gets caught up, because time is dependent on raw material source and that sort of stuff.
So you apply that old saying, if you think you can, you can, and if you think you can't, you can't.
And we try to plan.
All in your mind.
All in this little head.
Yes.
Pineapple, passion fruit, sour sap, all these other stone fruit. But pineapple is not a stone fruit.
Yeah.
But let's say mango, passion fruit, sour sap that has seed comes into this machine. This is a destoning pulpa puree machine.
So it takes out all the seeds that the sour sap would have, and the pineapple.
And passion fruit.
Okay.
So this is for stone. fruit with seed. That's for like pineapple without seed.
Okay.
I just mash it up and filter it. Everything from here, goes through presses to squeeze out the pulp from the juice. This is a special, it's called a scalper. It's a special press that actually takes the fiber out of the mango.
Okay.
And then from there you have to temperature and all kinds of other stuff that Jerry has to make sure is happening in order to make the product safe. Okay? So that's what this room is. This room, we call it the ready-go room because this is where we process all our primary material.
I am very proud of you guys for having done all of this because it makes me feel good as a Belizean to see a factory of this magnitude operating in my country.
This is our blend room, and this is where everything pumps to. It's these 4 tanks that makes his life miserable or happy. Because everything comes through the top into these tanks. This is where he does all his blending, this is where he determines his product. This is where he tests his product before he sends it to this machine, which does the bottling and starts the process of going through HPP or where else we're going to take it.
Well, when you talk about testing, what comes to mind is, what if when you're doing a test, it doesn't work out the way it should? What happens?
He has to keep working on it. He could answer that.
Yeah. Definitely. If at the end of the day the quality team analyzes and the result isn't meeting specification, we have a system in place and procedures are in place to correct. It's either if it's a food safety issue, the product needs to be drummed off and quarantined. If it's a quality issue where the bricks is a little bit lower, the flavor isn't too consistent, we then correct that by blending it with better material. And then we bottle after once it passes again, then we bottle again. Right? But the quality assurance team always be the one that are responsible and say yes, go ahead and bottle. So production will not take any decisions on their own when it comes to bottling. You have to get the go ahead.
You gotta go ahead and you gotta do proper testing and everything. Right?
That's right.
The privilege of having numerous tanks allow you to do exactly the same thing Dion is talking about. You know, to fix the product, etc.
And I must say, folks, in here is cold compared to where we were before. We were in humid area, then we came into a cooler area, now we're in a cold area.
We're only at 50 degrees.
Huh?
We're only at 50 degree Fahrenheit.
Well, that's cool for Belize, you know.
The banking that you're seeing there of valves is brand new for all of us because what we were used to is this is what we call a swing bend board. And the ones that Jerry and I were used to were big boards, and you literally had to take these and change them around as opposed to having valves do it for him. So his life is a lot easier. If not, he would have to stand at the swing bend.
And then just
physically move them around.
Physically move them around.
So that bank of valves is what makes life easy.
What are those lights for?
That's the beauty of state-of-the-art equipment technology.
Yeah.
That's what it is, you know.
And these lights were one green, some yellow, and some...
Those are only indicators that tells you what position the valve is in, whether it's open or closed.
Okay, so when you look at that, you know where the...
We can get 5% of our products sold locally. It's going to be a lot.
How much?
5%.
So how much products are you selling locally, sir?
Right now, I would think we have about 30-40% of the market, depending on which product. But I'm
total production.
The total production of this capability of this plant, 95% of what I produce will have to be exported.
Wow. So when you operate at full capacity, make I understand you correct. If you operate at full capacity, you'll have to export 95% because in Belize we can only consume about 5% of what you are capable of producing.
Yeah, exactly that. When we were at CPBL and we went up to the $8 million box a year, 1.5% stayed in Belize.
So our consumption is obviously low because of the population.
4,000 people.
Yeah. So you got to export. And right now you're exporting all over the place, right?
We're trying to. We're concentrating right now on Central America. America is a different kind of a market. Europe, I'm a little skeptical because it's too far and the world is changing real fast. So we're looking at CARICOM, which we have a good supply going into CARICOM right now. But we're hoping that Central America, even Mexico, wants coconut water and coconut products. And then America, Canada is our next step.
You know, this is good for our country because we are exporting a value-added product as against a raw product. So the value added, like a finished product, will attract more revenue into the country as against just selling out the raw stuff.
It's about 3 times, I get 3 times more value. Right now I can sell a 40-foot container of orange juice, and container will probably cost about 36,000 US. Where if I pack that in bottles and export it, it would go up to about 69, 70,000 euros.
Wow. Major difference. Major, the value added makes a major, and it provides employment as well for Belizeans. I think it's an important work that you're doing here, again, because the farmers are benefiting because you buy from farmers, you grow some yourself, and so that benefit is spread around, and you need to hire people to grow. How many people you hire overall? You work here overall?
We have 400 people right now.
400?
Yeah. The factory is about half of that, no? 200. Huh?
About 45 in the plant, only in the factory.
Providing job opportunities.
So we are a big employer.
Yeah, you're providing job opportunities. You're producing electricity for the grid. You are producing fine products. Man, you're doing a whole lot.
That's what we're trying
and
to
you're
do.
exporting the value added, which brings in more revenue to the country.
And I think that's what makes it so interesting to Jerry and so interesting to Dion. And it establishes the fact that we can have ownership. And we can be trusting. And we can be, all the core principles that you need. You need a higher level of integrity to make sure that everything operates, because you can't always be second guessing. You have to be able to delegate and elevate.
That's right.
That's sort of
And all made in Belize.
This is Mr. Magnus. He is in charge of, he is the blend tank operator. You see all the valve banks and all those valves that we were looking at earlier. He is responsible for maintaining all of these and operating all of these.
Okay, Mr. Magnus.
It's important so that we don't have any product mixing with another and contamination.
You don't get confused? You don't get confused sometimes with all them valves and stuff?
No, I really...
How do you understand all them valves and things like that? Because I get confused.
Well, it took me a while, like about a week and a half to understand all the valves and stuff. But I guess I understand it. Not hard.
Because when I look at this, I just see a lot of numbers and...
Yeah, the valve numbers and stuff. Each tank have their own valves and their own section.
How long it took you to learn this?
A week and a half.
It's a week and a half? You're very good. You're a good Belizean.
Yes, man.
And you're from this area?
Huh?
You're from this area?
Yes, sir. From Nagrigatong.
And how long have you been here?
I've been here in Silras about 1 year now.
1 year now, and you enjoy this?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, yeah.
Well, I would too. And this is a dress for the occasion too.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Because in here it's very cool.
Yeah, in here, cool is.
Show me what's in these tanks now.
In tank 1 we have coconut water.
This is coconut water here.
That's in production mode, in auto. That's sending to the juice filler. The filler is over here. In auto it automatically goes
Coconut
to the
water.
filler.
And this one?
Those are empty.
These are empty right now. So this is what you're using right now to do coconut water, full coconut water.
Yeah, the filler.
Okay, the filler. Wow.
You gotta make sure that the product is routing in the correct destination.
Okay, yeah.
Otherwise, you may have mishaps, you may have losses if it's not directed into the appropriate destination.
Without going through the proper procedure.
That's correct. Right?
Man.
You do it all, it is like the touch of a button. The touch of a button.
You can recall.
Touch of a button, it automatically goes
But you got to be alert all the time, right? Because if you're not alert all the time, you could never say what will happen. And when it happens.
Yeah, true. I always check the screen.
Very good, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What you do. All right, good to meet you guys, man.
What we can do is to continue the process. What we're seeing there, the water going over at the filler, right? So, yeah, the water is going into the filler. That's going to fill into the bottles now. So we could have a look at that.
Let's look at that. Oh, on the other side? Where you get the bottles from?
These bottles are purchased from Honduras.
Okay.
Right? So we obtained from a supplier in Honduras. Again, as a part of SQF, all of our suppliers need to have a certification of some kind.
Okay.
If we are saying that our food is safe, even the packaging is a part of the food as they make contact. All right? Yeah. That's right. And if there's any issue that we find, we got to report it.
But that's how Irene, don't worry.
Yeah.
So with Irene case, Irene, you are taking the bottles out of the plastic here
Yeah.
and dumping them in here.
Yeah.
What's that?
This is the unscrambler that we feed the bottles to the conveyor, into the drum machine, to the filler.
And Irene, how long have you been working here?
3 years.
3 years? Okay, right. So what have the machine pulls up the bottles?
Yeah, it automatically stops. Then when it's empty in there, then it give a flow.
Oh, there it goes, pulling up.
Yeah,
more
pulling up, yeah.
So these bottles are well packed, so you have to...
Yeah, I have to rip it. I have to cut the top so that we can empty it into the unscrambler. Yeah. Actually, I'm the supervisor for the packaging department. And I see all the different packaging preparation, materials, what we will be packing, and so forth.
And so, when you get a pack of bottles like this, what do you look for when you get out? You look to see if any bottle is broken, or how do you go about inspecting this?
Whenever we receive the material from the inventory department, we will inspect the packaging, the package, to see that it's all clean. We have no damaged bottles or no holes or nothing in the liner that the bottle comes in.
Wow. Well, keep on doing what you're doing, Ms. Ivory.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Renner.
That's explaining to me.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll open one of these and just dump it in
Dump
there.
it in there, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you make sure that the whole thing works good.
The packaging process go through the right procedures.
Thanks for talking with me.
Yeah. You too.
All right. Mr. Production Manager, where are you taking me now? Where we go from here?
Well, I just want to add one more thing here. If you look at the packaging, they all have a lot numbering attached on each pack.
Okay.
This is important as I was explaining when it pertains to food safety. If there is any issue, there's any food safety hazard or any complaint coming from a customer, we can trace it back directly to which pack this bottle has been manufactured out of.
So you could trace every bottle?
Yes, by the pack.
By the pack.
And the lot number, right? So each one of these packs have a lot number. This is the lot number. So we also record the lot numbers on the packaging sheet so we can know what we are using.
So before she brought this here, she had to record.
That's correct.
What she was bringing.
That's correct.
Accordingly.
It's all a part of the traceability.
Yeah.
Right?
Very important.
That's correct.
Very important. You can't make no mistake. Right? So if I get a bad bottle of juice by accident, you can also trace it.
You can trace it. The packaging and the product content as well.
That comes in that. So each one of these.
To know when it's made. Yes.
Okay. Very important.
Correct. So let's have a look at the bottling line now.
Okay, let's go.
With these scrambles, as you notice, they just throw it and it represents all the bottles.
Yeah.
And it also rejects. It also rejects.
It will reject the bottle, and that's perfect. So this is the assembly line here. And what's happening in here now?
This young man is Mr. Jared Sainsbury.
What's his name?
Jared Sainsbury, got off for himself. He's my sweet man in the company.
Okay.
But he's responsible for all of this stuff.
All right. Jared, so what's happening here, Jared?
Right now, at the moment, we are bottling up 355 coconut water. I'm responsible for this entire line here. And all this machine
So you make sure that all the bottles come in correct, empty and go out full.
Yes, sir.
All right. Right.
Yes, sir.
You're from around here?
From Hope Creek.
Hope Creek.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good to see Belize being employed here from all over the district.
And his job is not only making sure it comes in and goes out, it's also adjusting the machine to make sure it works the way it should for the SKU that you're running. So he's also technical, it's not only operation.
Okay.
Along with this good gentleman here.
And you are
Francisco Toraya
Francisco Toraya from here too?
from Pomona New Site.
Pomona. Okay, nice to meet you, Francisco. So together you all make sure that this process goes smoothly.
Goes smoothly.
Right? Nothing comes in empty
Good.
and goes out full.
Yeah, it rinses, then it starts filling. And then,
rinses first?
yeah, it rinses the bottle first.
Let's look at it closer then.
The bottle goes in, as you said, it has something there that,
Spring water.
yeah, they rinse out the bottle. No, water, clean water. So what that do is that try to rinse out any dirt or whatever that might be that came in the bottle from in the pack before it reach the filler nozzle where it will be full by the coconut water. So and we have the capping over here. This cap all the bottles before it leaves out the machine. It has 16 nozzles.
Oh, okay. 16, the full 16 bottles at a time?
Yes, sir. But we can increase the speed if we want it to go faster.
Okay. And then you have to adjust to make sure that one bottle is not more filled than the other. The average they are filled at the same time, right?
Yes, sir.
And what if you find a bottle that's not looking correct? You take it out after.
Yeah, we try to replace it, and if we need to make the necessary adjustments, we need to do so immediately.
Everything is done by machine, right? And you don't touch it until it comes out.
Yes, sir. We don't actually touch it until it's almost final.
Yeah.
Like you said.
And then it goes where from here. Now I see it going around here. You sterilize the capsule? I can't help but notice that.
Yeah, we sanitize the cap with acetic acid as
So
well.
the caps are sanitized, the bottles are sanitized.
That's right.
Right. And then now you have it going along.
So now the process continues. It goes into a dryer, blow dryer.
What is the blow dryer?
This machine is drying tunnel. What this does, this dries off the bottle before it needs to get printed or labeled. This machine is responsible to dry off the water or the juice or any little something that is wet.
That might stay on the bottle outside of the bottle because the bottle is already sealed. Francisco Toraya. Nice meeting you, sir. And what all you do, sir?
I'm here responsible ensuring that the machines they work properly to ensure that we don't have any problems. If they do have any issues, we try to solve them right away, promptly, so we don't have any breakdowns.
Very good. And what would be a major breakdown that would happen here?
Well, it all depends.
What do you call a breakdown?
A breakdown will be probably, let's say you have probably a bearing with fault, or one of the bottles will suck in the rain over here by the star block and would cause damage. Then we will have to stop the machine and take it out, now dismantle. Start to dismantle the star block and take out the defective bottle.
And you are from where? From here?
From
here?
Pomona.
Pomona. A lot of Pomonians are here.
Yes, sir. There's a lot.
We are here now at this machine.
Yes.
And this third one?
Right, Dr. Renee. So at the end of the bottling line is where we have the last step of the traceability information. Here is the code printer. So whenever we package a product, there is a specific code that has to be placed on the neck of the bottles, right? This is for traceability purposes, as we've established earlier. So if you can look at one of these bottles, you will see that it has the lot number, the batch number, and also the date the bottle was, the product was manufactured, and the best buy date as well, of course, right?
August.
So the best buy date for this is August 23rd, 2025.
Wow,
Right?
we are in April and this will be good until August?
That's correct. That's 120 days shelf life.
120 days shelf life.
That's correct.
Coconut water here.
What gives us this shelf life is the HPP that we're going to see in a few.
Okay.
The HPP process is validated to give you 120 days shelf life.
ASPP?
Yes, the HPP, which is...
What's the, break that down for me.
All right, so HPP means high pressure processing, right? So it's a processing of the product that uses high pressure up to 87,000 psi.
Wow.
The product is exposed to pressures ranging around 87,000 psi and a hold time of 180 seconds.
Okay.
So you can imagine the amount of force that is applied on the product. What that does for you is that it kills the bacteria using pressure and not heat. That is why you have that extended shelf life. No spoilage of the product once it's maintained refrigerated.
And I could ask you a question. I feel cold.
Yes, in here it's
Why?
really cold. But again, this room is maintained in this way, in this manner, so that the product is maintained at a cold temperature during the process.
I'm next to freezing in here and the bottle is cold as well.
So it's a lower risk, right? We're eliminating risk of any spoilage that may occur. So this is the HPP, as you mentioned, the high pressure processing equipment.
High pressure processing
equipment. So here we have our operator, Mr. Hubert Vaccaro.
Gilbert Vaccaro.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Vaccaro. How are you doing?
Operator.
All right, here, operator. So what are you operating here, Mr. Vaccaro?
The HPP machine.
And what happens here? Well,
Right now, we will introduce the two bullets that has the...
okay, let's see. Because the juices are packed in these cylinder type things, right? And so what happens here? What's going on there?
That's not being loaded in the chamber.
Oh, he's loading it in the...
Heavy duty chamber.
It's being loaded in here.
Close and go back in.
So there's a lot of pressure in there that will...
87,000 psi.
If you look at it, the vessel is now closing, and now water at high pressure is going to be entering the vessel.
No, what?
Water.
Water will be...
Yes, the water will now be pumped into the vessel.
Why will you pump water in the pressure?
That's how we get the pressurizing up onto 87,000 using water.
Cold water.
Cold water, that's correct.
So cold water will be pumped among those bottles and then
pressurizing, yes, and holding it for 180 seconds at that pressure, right? What that does now, it eliminates all your microorganisms that may be available within the product.
So that's why you call it cold press.
That's why it's cold press, and that's why it's high pressure processing. Right? So you can see how the pressure is building up inside the vessel here. So there is showing you the pressure building up. Right?
45, 47.
So we call this stage of the process the compression stage. Once it reaches the set point of 87,000, the process begins the operation of holding it and pressurizing the puddles.
The pressure that we see building up right now is being done by the equipment inside the room there, which is an intensifier.
Oh, the equipment we saw a while ago,
Yes.
it's holding,
Correctly.
the pressure, yeah.
It's a hydraulic unit with high pressure cylinders.
Silkwest Farms takes pride in providing employment for persons in the surrounding villages. We will meet more of the employees as we continue our walk around the factory. But first, we take a break to hear from our partners. The Barry, Del Martin, Minister Kevin Bernard, and Silkgrass Farms.
See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the...
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Vamos, vamos bien con Kevin, Bernard, Kevin, Bernard, Kevin, Bernard, Kevin, Bernard, champion, champion, Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, 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 Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion. 2020, Kevin came with a vision, executed well, he's a man on a mission. The work continues with new innovation, Plan Belize 2.0 activation, benefiting the West, North to South and East. Infrastructure and opportunities, plenty get done, plenty more to come. Kevin Bernard, you can continue depend on. Champion, champion, Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, champion, champion. Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion. Sports development, woman empowerment, infrastructure, youth involvement. Heart of a champion, full confident, astonishing leader, no argument. Relentlessly with a passion and drive, natural born leader, no one get deprived. Dedicated to serving and provide, Belize in good hands, no one can deny. Champion, champion, Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, champion, champion. Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion. Champion, 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 champion. Hey, one time for the champion. Hey, two time for the champion. Hey, three time for the champion. Hey, everybody shout it out loud now. Champion, champion, Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, champion, champion. Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion.
At Silkgrass Farms, we believe in more than just growing food. We're cultivating a future. Across 9,000 acres in the foothills of the Maya Mountains, our family of farms grows a vibrant array of crops: coconuts, citrus, cacao, watermelons, avocados. But our mission goes beyond harvests. Through sustainable agriculture, we are not just growing crops, we're strengthening ecosystems and reversing the impacts of climate change. Silkgrass Farms is a part of a global movement, transforming modern food systems into living stories of nutrition, nature, and people. From our fields to your table, every product tells a story of health and hope for the future.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one.
This here is what we call a CIP room, which is clean in place.
Clean?
Clean in place.
In place.
So that means all equipment that is in there will be cleaned in the place that they are from this unit. So what I was saying with Dion now, and when he shuffles his shifts, he has to quantify the time it's going to take for him or for young Gilly to make sure that he's able to get it done within a period of time and that stuff. So we have between products, so we have how long we run a product and that sort of stuff.
So you're saying that, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that whatever you have in here is automatically sent to a tank that has been used in there?
Yeah, to every piece, almost every piece of
equipment in there, and so that does the cleaning internally of that piece of equipment.
It's automatic. Dion and his crew quality just have to check that my young man here does not screw it up. He's done it a few times, but he's learned much better now. So 3 years now?
Yes, sir. What's it? What's your name? Gilbert. Nice meeting you, Gilbert. Yeah, well.
Gilbert Valera, I call him Swaza because he look like a Swaza.
You're from Dangriga?
Yes, sir. I'm from Dangriga. Yes.
You have fun working here?
Yes, sir. I enjoy working here.
I want to know how this operate. How you clean the rest equipment here?
Well, these are the tanks there.
These are the tanks that are here?
Yes, sir. 4 tanks.
Okay.
We got this is the freshwater tank. We got the recycle. We got the acid. And we got the caustic.
Okay.
And when we start our CIP, normally these guys, well, this is how most of the lines run on. So we started from the recycle. The guys would haul this out, and when they have already hauled it out, it goes back to the fresh water, and after the fresh water, then they go to caustic. And from the caustic, they goes back to fresh water. That is when we do the full CIP. So when these guys get through, normally we take about an hour to a half an hour.
When you get through now, you're cleaning out everything that they use, you are cleaning it out from here?
Yes, sir.
They
pull it from there.
Various components that you have.
Yes, sir.
These tanks.
You
determine where you send it to which area you will send it. Like for argument's sake, it's the bottler.
Yes.
The bottling machine. Then you will send it to the bottling machine and clean out the bottling machine.
Yes, sir.
Automatically from in here. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What I want to add here is that the operators also have to be in constant communication.
Yeah.
Because whichever area is being washed, the CIP operator has to be communicating with that specific individual. Otherwise, valves need to be maintained open or closed at that area and at this area as well.
You can't afford for this to get there.
Right. So while the CIP is in auto, it still requires the operators to be in sync, right? And make sure that it's being done properly. I'm sending water now. Please make sure that it's going to the correct area. That has to occur. If you would look at the main 4 tanks earlier, as Gilbert was explaining, you would see one says caustic. One would say, what is caustic? Caustic is the main detergent, you would say, used in soaps. Right? So that's pretty much what we use to clean all our equipment. And as what Doc was mentioning, when we say CIP, we don't have the need to dismantle anything. The cleaning is effective with everything in place.
To put it simply, you're not going to take a bucket or something and go and clean inside a tank. You clean it, break down a line or anything. You clean everything from here, right? You pressurize and clean everything from here. By just putting whatever is needed to clean it and to rinse it out and to have it ready for use again, you just monitor it and you do it from here.
Yes, sir. Then from there, when we have already finished with our CIP, we normally got the lab tech that goes and check those guys' tank, make sure, do the swabbing, make sure everything is well clean. And after, when they get through, the lab tech give them the go ahead, and we will start our sanitizer, And from there, these guys will radio me and tell me, well, they set already, lab tech have already checked up, so they're ready for the sanitizer. And from there, we take the sanitizer, and we say, and I will come and do what I have to do and send sanitizer to those guys. Sometimes we all program the machine and they do the stuff from over there.
Yeah, okay. The tank doesn't look
yes.
So from the stuff.
Yes. So normally they haul the same fresh water, and after the fresh water they go to sanitizer.
Okay.
Just to get a proper rinse.
And the differences with the caustic and the sanitizer is that the caustic removes organic material. So if you have residue juice in your lines or whatever, that's what the caustic does because of its chemical properties and making sure that it removes whatever is there. The sanitizer, on the other hand, kills whatever existing bacteria is on the surface. So you cannot sanitize if you do not clean, which is why the process in CIP is wash, wash, apply your caustic, rinse your caustic, and then you sanitize. So your sanitizing is the last phase of the CIP, right?
Very good, very important.
Once that is completed,
Once you get it sanitized, you're ready for the next batch. Right?
or a different raw material that you're going to run. That's right.
This is very important.
We are in the electrical distribution room. This is the area that supplies the entire processing facility with power, electrical power. I have Stefano Montero over there, who is the senior electrical supervisor. Darrell Ramnat, who is the maintenance manager.
Let's get to meet.
I'm Stefano Montero.
And then you're from?
I'm from Hope Creek.
Hope Creek?
Yeah.
And how long have you been here?
For about 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And describe to me a day in your life here.
Typical troubleshooting, basic inspection, coordinating the
electricity and that.
Yeah.
Because this is the backbone of everything, right? Because
yeah.
all the switches and so, but this is all powered by solar, right?
Yeah. During the daytime.
During the daytime, yeah.
He's powered by.
A lot of equipment in here, man.
Solar, yeah.
You did part of the wiring too? Or?
Partially.
Partially, so.
Yeah.
Because I can't neatly done it is. Really done very neatly.
Yeah.
Right.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all do good work, Kevin.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
Thanks to Mr. Jerry.
He's the man behind it, right?
He's the man with the plan.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by everything, and to see that all feeding off solar. At nights, for example, when you want to get off the solar, or when you don't have the solar, how do you switch automatically to BEL power?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you also feed BEL with your excess energy, so that feed is done from in here?
Well, actually, everything ties together. Both systems are linked together. They're actually both producing power at the same time. So, as the solar power decreases for whatever reason, sunlight, BEL power, we import more power from BEL.
It's like a flow.
Right, it's back and forth.
When I have too much, I give you. Exactly. And when I need it,
you give me.
It comes back in. Okay. So
it happens automatically.
And you got to keep all this going. Yeah. Well, thanks for doing a good job, man. And this guy work with you too? Yeah. Who he?
He's Darrell Ramda.
Darrell. So what you do, Darrell?
I'm the engineering and maintenance manager for Silkgrass Farms.
Okay.
So
engineering and maintenance manager.
Yes.
And what that means? You have it's more than just in here.
It's more than just in here, but I would say my main responsibility is to ensure that all the machines, all the equipment, the facility itself is maintained in a way that doesn't affect production. So the facility keeps moving. So the main thing is ensuring our preventative plans are on point, and then basically if a problem arises, our corrective actions are always prompt to ensure that everything keeps going.
What would be a typical problem that may arise? Not that we want to focus on problems, but something that may arise.
Well, the factory
will have to keep you like,
well, a typical problem. I wouldn't say we have typical problems because our preventative plan ensures that we don't have things that are repetitive. So I wouldn't say we have typical problems, but one of the main things we do try to be on top of that requires constant services is refrigeration. Probably would be the main thing that we do try to keep on top of, because refrigeration is critical for maintaining the quality of the product and ensuring no spoilage or any of that. So that's one of our major focuses within the factory, maintaining the temperatures within the rooms, in our cold storages and these areas.
Yeah. So I'm told that the solar runs the whole thing during the day. That's what I told.
Yes, well, we have a 1.5 megawatt system. So usually on a perfect day like this, with minimal cloud cover, that's more than enough to supply the entire factory operation. Right now the factory isn't consuming that much, but on a day when the factory is in full operation, it is more than capable of producing enough to supply the factory. So that's one of his main roles, is to monitor the efficiency of the solar system and ensure that it functions in a way that supplies everything entirely.
You're from Belize?
I'm Belizean now, yes, but I'm originally from Trinidad.
From Trinidad.
Yes.
I picked up the accent. That's why I asked.
Oh.
You know? So, but you love Belize.
Love it. Yes, absolutely.
You say you're a Belizean now, anyway. So.
Yes, I've been here for a number of years, and since I've arrived here, I don't think I've returned home. So.
Okay. Thank you for choosing Belize.
I should thank Belize for choosing me.
I'm sure you've heard Henry spoke about 2 megawatts of power. Now you hear Darrell saying 1.5. It's actually a 2 megawatt DC system, but a 1.5 megawatt AC system.
2.2
megawatt DC system.
Okay.
Solar system.
Uh-huh.
But it actually produces 1.5 megawatt of AC power.
AC system, which is AC, is what your equipment
Alternating current, DC current.
Yeah. So you convert the DC to AC in here as well.
Yes. At the solar operation.
Okay.
This unit here is what you call an ice gen.
An ice
gen machine.
Ice gen machine. So it's an ice generator.
No, yeah. What it does is it takes juice in its liquid form and turn it into a slurry. When you freeze juice in its liquid form, it freezes from outside in. The middle, up to 4 days later, is not frozen. So you have a destruction of your material. So when we slurry it and put it in a cold store, it freezes as a block. When we defrost it, it defrosts fairly evenly. Although we don't allow it to defrost, we crush it. All right, so this is another little secret that we have in our arsenal in regards to how we can maintain the integrity of our product without letting freezing and that sort of stuff destroy the structure, the cellular structure and stuff of our material. Explain to Mr. Villanueva quickly what you do.
Yeah, what do you do?
My name is Jacinto Cortez, and this is
Jacinto Cortez.
Yes, sir. What I do here is to slush the juice, any kind of juice that silkgrass make.
Okay, so you slush it, make it look icy. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then what else? The juice will come in that tank, or?
The juice come from blend tanks. Receive it in here in the slusher, and from there go into the buffer tank.
Okay. So what's in there is cold slush.
Yes, sir.
Basically, cold slush in there. And this cold slush would go where?
Drum it out, and from there in the cold store.
Oh, so you take the cold slush now and put it. This is when you're doing bulk. Now, what we saw a while ago was bottling, right? So this is when you're doing bulk.
Different outlets, right? Different outlets. You could, whenever we have the juice, you have different outlets you could push the juice into. Bottling, slurry, or you could go over at the pasteurizing. We looked at the pasteurizer earlier this morning. So you have,
So you're bottling here, you're slushing here, and you're pasteurizing over there.
Over the other side. That's correct. So he's also making sure that whatever the lab asks of us in terms of the percentage ice in the slurry, we can accommodate or we can make. This has the capacity of going up to about 80% ice slush.
80%?
So in a 100 ml of juice, you could get 80 ml of ice. So that's really concentrated ice, right?
What happens to the slush afterwards?
So what we do is, as what Doc was explaining earlier, the purpose of the slushing is to freeze it uniformly. Normally when you freeze juice in its liquid form, you would have a separation before the product freezes.
That's what he was explaining.
So what the slush does is that it freezes it uniformly. Or if a customer is interested in a slush, we could also give them that.
So if I want a slush right now, you could just openly pass it there and give me a nice slush, right?
We don't know what to do.
Yeah, you could do that, right?
That's right.
All right, very good. A lot of slush.
So this is actually working right now. He is actually slushing at the moment.
Storage. This is all primary material.
Cold storage. I would just want to go there and come out back because this is like walking inside a... Man, hold on a little. Woo! I don't want to be frozen. I don't want. That's freezing. So this, how cold is in there, man?
You could see actually
10 degrees. Tell me, that's as cold as the freezer in my refrigerator or colder?
It's colder.
Than the freezer in my refrigerator. So because I noticed a block of ice was right in my way.
Yep.
And so you got to keep all that juice so frozen. Because you got, how many drums you have in there right now?
I'm not really sure that, but
well, whole lot, man.
More than 5,000 drums.
Well, 5,000 drums of stuff in there.
Yes, sir.
Wow. And different types of produce, right?
Yeah, just orange and grapefruit. We got some partial with passion fruits and anything.
Okay.
So what's up? Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
And you know each drum by how it look, or how you know which one has what? You have the label of it?
Yes, we've got everything labeled. Everything labeled. Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
About 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah.
So you got a lot of experience?
Yes, sir. Experienced operator.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And 20 years you have to put on clothes like this?
Yeah, every time.
How it feels to take off that mask today?
It's kind of cool because I
good,
don't used to this already. So.
You don't used to having a warm thing over here.
Yes, sir.
You're from where? From
Hope Creek.
Hope Creek?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Actually, Hope Creek na is second village. Mile 25 you come out, right?
Mile 25.
Originally.
Yes, sir.
Well, again, your name is?
Pantaleon Castellanos.
Pantaleon Castellanos. Nice meeting you, Mr. Castellanos. Yeah, I make you go back into the cold, right?
Yes, sir.
Like me, I was singing like my mom, coming. No, you are sing, coming in from the cold, right?
Yeah.
But you are going back to the cold.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thanks very much.
All the best. Thanks. All right. And what happens here now?
our final product.
Your final product?
Yeah, they're packed and shrink wrap.
Okay.
You know this there at the end?
Okay, that's the end product here. And Miss, your name is?
Marisol Guzman.
Hi, Miss Marisol. How are you doing?
All right, sir.
I think I saw you, Miss Marisol, earlier for true. Miss Marisol, so you're here again?
Yes, sir.
I could pick up on anything with Marisol?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's why the coconut oil looks frozen like that, because of the cold. It's cold, see? So when you buy it, that means it's good stuff. This coconut oil is good for 2 years?
Shelf life, yes, sir.
The shelf life of this coconut is 2 years?
Unopened.
Unopened. And sealed.
Right.
Once you open it, well, obviously you have to deal with it.
Yes.
But so this could sit on a shelf for 2 years in an average room temperature, or
Yes.
average room temperature, right? Doesn't have to be in my refrigerator.
No.
And it will last until 2027.
Yes, sir.
Well, cold press, man, extra virgin or natural extra virgin.
Yeah.
Well, what the process I've seen you go through, I can say it's extra virgin indeed, because you could see how the process that we followed this morning definitely guarantees the product.
Nothing added in the process.
Nothing added.
Nothing added.
Yeah.
What you get, you filter out the water, you get out everything else, and you end up with virgin coconut oil, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So these are exported as well, right?
Yes. Once we majority of it is for locals, but we do export if we have customers that are interested. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have a lot of so next cold storage.
We have 3 cold storage and 1 refrigeration room, which is like a chill room. This is like a refrigerator.
Oh, because this one is the refrigerator, that one was like the ice box.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. This is like a fridge.
It's like a refrigerator.
As you mentioned earlier, one of the things that we do with our juices is that we do not freeze our products. As long as it's bottled, we maintain at refrigeration.
Okay.
Freezing also affects the flavor the longer it freezes. You will notice that with meat and any other thing that stays in a freezer for a long period of time. So when it freezes, your ice affects the product, right? So we keep ours chilled and refrigerated.
Extremely chilled, right?
That's correct.
The refrigerator, the freezer.
Yes.
With the drum, so yes. But the finished product now is kept chilled.
Maintained at refrigeration. Right? So if you would look at one of these, you will see none of them has in any ice. It's all liquid. Yeah. See that?
It's not ice.
Nope. It's maintained at liquid form.
So Grass Farm Coconut H2 Agua de Coco. This is where you load your trucks, you said.
Yeah, this is our Everything goes out from here. Okay. If we, like I was mentioning earlier, we also do toll packing. So if you have something that needs to come in and go through any of our end game, the retort, the monoblock, the tube-in-tube pasteurization, or the HPP, you bring it in, we run it through that equipment, and we send it back out. It's toll packing. We also do co-packing, where if you want your brand on, we then would put our product in your package, and it's for you to do your business with.
Okay.
So and then Silkgrass Farms is our branded product. What we're finding now in the market is a lot of the times people want you to co-pack because establishing a brand is extremely, extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to America or into Central America and stuff. They want their own brand. So we've developed a plant with that capacity and capability. What Jerry did now is to get on to the 200, 300 40-foot containers a year that I'm telling you is our ultimate goal. We have to have containers continuously loading. So Jerry has outside the ability to plugins for about 15 containers. So like we have 2 containers coming on today. We're going to start packing out for shipment that we're expecting. And then we have 3 more coming down on Tuesday for the same thing. So we pre-pack and plug in outside. So instead of having to use our refrigeration in here, we refrigerate in the container itself. And boom, hook it up and then it's gone. So it takes...
With their label on it.
Whoever, yeah.
Whoever label.
Like I said, establishing a brand right now it's expensive, you know. When you sell it into the States and you want to go into Costco's and stuff, it costs a lot of money. I'm sure you've heard Marie Sharp speak about that. The cost of getting on shelves and stuff.
Branding is expensive.
So that's the ins and outs of the factory.
I find it's amazing though. It has been an amazing experience, you know, looking at it from the receiving of the product to the processing of the product to the bottling of the juices and the coconut water, etc., to the freezing of it up, to the keeping the storage of it afterwards, and then bringing it out and having to keep it cold throughout the entire process.
We will have the final segment of our visit after this break to hear from our partners. Minister Kevin Bernard, Silkgrass Farms, The Barry, and Del Martin.
It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one.
Vamos bien con Kevin Bernard, Kevin Bernard, Kevin Bernard, Kevin Bernard, champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, 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 champion. North, South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion. 2020, Kevin came with a vision. Executed well, he's a man on a mission. The work continues with new innovation. Plan Belize 2.0 activation. Benefiting the West, North to South and East. Infrastructure and opportunities. Plenty get done, plenty more to come. Kevin Bernard, you can continue depend on. Champion, champion, Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, champion, champion. Kevin is the champion, 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 champion. North, South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion. Sports development, woman empowerment, infrastructure, youth involvement. Heart of a champion, full confident. Astonishing leader, no argument. Relentlessly with a passion and drive. Natural born leader, no one gets deprived. Dedicated to serving and provide. Belize in good hands, no one can deny. Champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, 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 champion. North, South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion. Champion, 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 champion. Hey. One time for the champion, hey. 2 times for the champion, hey. 3 times for the champion, hey. Everybody shout it out loud now. champion, 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 champion. Kevin Bernard is the people's champion, 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 champion. South, East and West, Kevin is a true champion.
Introducing Silkgrass Farms cold pressed juices, 100% natural with zero additives, no added sugar, made only from the freshest fruits. Silkgrass Farms, pure, fresh, sustainable.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Celebration time.
So, Jerry, we have moved away from the main factory area and you have taken me to
the utilities
section. All right, what happens at the utilities section?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Everything. You have explained everything to me. I've broken down everything a little bit, yeah.
So what happens here is, first of all, you have the engineering workshop, where most of our repair and maintenance are conducted on equipment.
Okay.
And along the building, you have different areas where you have potable water treatment, steam generation, and refrigeration.
Serious? All that happens in here?
Right here.
You know, but you have the big factory where we were today, but this is like the support to that, right?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
This feeds everything into the plant to make it function.
To make it function.
That's good.
Right. Will you be able to show me inside, Jerry? Will you be able to go inside and see what it looks like?
Of course we can.
Okay, well, maybe we'll
take you along?
Yeah, man. Why not? Because, you know, this is a support system, right?
Yes, sir.
Or you want us to start off by you telling me about that solar bank I'm seeing over there?
Well, if you're interested in us talking about that, for sure.
Because that's part of the utilities, right?
Of course.
Okay.
As we met earlier in the electrical distribution system, where you met one of two of my colleagues, Daryl Ramdat and Stefano Montero. They are the people who basically keep this thing running. What we have out there is 2 megawatts DC of solar panel. That's the main solar field. From there, the energy that is produced by those panels are transmitted through cables underground to where we have the control system. Inverters that takes the DC power and convert it to AC.
Okay.
At that point, that's where we start generating 1.5 megawatts of AC energy to the facility.
To run the plant, right? And then the excess you said you will go to the BL grid. No, that's a huge bank of solar panels there. How many solar panels are there, more or less?
3,200.
3,200. Like in thousand, like
yes.
3,000.
3,200.
200 panels. That's a lot of panels.
Yeah.
Right? That must have been a humongous cost just to get that there.
Of course it is.
Right?
Very expensive.
3,200 solar panels.
Each panel
produces how many?
585 watts of electricity, DC.
And you have 3,200 of those working continuously. And a cloudy day, will it give you optimum performance, or how does that affect your performance?
Obviously, once the sunlight decreases, the radiation from the sunlight, the power will reduce. Yeah, so on a good day, we produce maximum power up to 1,500 kilowatts.
And the factory consumes how much of that 1,500 on its own?
We use almost 50% of that.
50% for the factory,
Yes.
and then the other 50% is fed
Goes
into
into the grid.
into the Belize Electricity Limited grid.
That's correct.
Grid. So maybe when you put on your light next time, I say, oh, so a bit of this might have come from silk grass.
Yeah, for sure.
Silk grass farms.
That's for sure.
Okay, that's quite a huge investment there. Now, can you take me inside, or
Sure.
can we go inside, Darrell?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's head in then and see what we'll see.
Well, as Jerry mentioned earlier, this is our machine shop, so this is where we conduct most of our repairs. We have our lathe machine, all our welding plans, so any major repair that needs to be done on equipment is brought to the workshop and we conduct all our repairs here.
Okay, our repairs are done in here.
Yeah.
So you have a team of engineers that say they're moving around over there.
Yes,
a
it's
team
out.
of engineers that would do the repairs and maintenance work, right?
Yes, we have a very specialized group of technicians. We have our electrical team, our mechanical team, and a separate team for utilities. So everyone handles their own responsibilities.
Okay.
But this is where we operate.
What are those tanks up there?
Those are our condensers for refrigeration system.
Condensers for the refrigeration system. Okay. I didn't see the top of them last time from here. They look like tanks.
If you look on the other side, you'll see the fans, the big
Okay,
fans.
the fans, okay.
Right? So this here is our water treatment room. We have 2 media filters where all our water that we get from our well is pumped through here, filtered and chlorinated and sent to the factory. Right? We also have a reverse osmosis system that purifies water for the use in our blends that we may use for different products. So we have the potable water, and then the reverse osmosis system produces water for product.
What's the main water source?
We have a well to the entrance of the facility, and that's pumped to the main storage tank, and that feeds the factory.
This tank.
Yes.
So it's not like city water or anything like that. It's basically your own natural water that you purify.
Yes. We extract it. So we extract water from a 220-foot well, and from there it goes to a storage tank, and that feeds our water treatment facility.
And then when it goes to the storage tank, and you say it feeds the facility, you store some of it in these 2 tanks here, or?
No. These 2 tanks are for the water that we purify using reverse osmosis. Right? So the water that we purify from reverse osmosis is strictly used for the blending of product to drink. Right? These 2 filtration systems here is what we use for basic operation within the factory.
Okay.
So this is fed for washing up of equipment and those type of operations within the factory. So it's purified, filtered, and then chlorinated to remove any microorganisms that may be present in the water.
You know, I'm amazed. I'm almost speechless for the amount of thought and energy that went into into putting this factory together, right? Because even something like the water source, you know, you have to identify your water source and then treat your own water and treat it in different ways. That the ones that you use for regular use is treated in one way, and the one that you use for consumption is
treated in different ways. We had different risk management processes we went through to identify what needed to be done for these different purposes. So when we finished, this is the designs they came up with, and we just put it in place and make sure it's operational.
It's an amazing facility, you know, producing its own electric energy, its own water source, you know, and so on. That's amazing.
Definitely, it's something that, well, it's part of the reason that what brought me here. The technology incorporated within this facility and the overall goal of the company. So that was one of the major reasons that inspired me to be part of this.
Okay, very good. And how it feels to be a part of this? You got inspired, you are a part of it, but how does it feel being a part of it?
Well, it's...
You're still at a high, that same high you came with?
Well, I think the high continues to increase because as you realize the project keeps expanding. There's always new things, new goals, new initiatives. I think as a young engineer, it serves me in a sense that it gives me that purpose, a feeling of accomplishment, contributing to something that I look forward to, basically.
Yeah, it gives me a feeling of joy too to see this in my country. You know, this type of investment in my country and this type of operation, you know, self-sustainable.
Yes, definitely. So that was one of the major things that brought me here. The initiative, the goal, and to be part of such a great initiative. I couldn't ask for more as a young professional.
Exactly. So what else happens in this building now? What are these machines?
These are actually steam boilers, steam generators. Those are used to generate steam for heating up the CIP system you saw in the plant earlier. Those tanks with all those equipment that cleans the processing equipment in the facility. The steam from here is sent to that equipment, the CIP system, which heats the cleaning solution to then clean the processing equipment, basically.
The steam is generated here. How the machine generates steam? You have to pour water in it, I guess, and
it's a vessel, and it's a
heats up with the water.
That's correct. It's a vessel that holds water. It's a fire tube boiler. It uses LPG as a heat source to heat the water within the boiler vessel. That water is then turned to steam, which obviously gets transported into the facility, the processing facility.
So this is really a backup building to everything.
Of course it is. Yeah. It is. It's like the heart of the operation.
Yeah.
So this is the refrigeration plant. We have this has a capacity of 500 tons cooling. When we were in the plant, you saw the freezer rooms.
That was like snow, like being in a far frozen north.
So what makes that happen? This system right here. So all the cooling you saw in there earlier, the processing area that was very cool, the freezer room that you went in, the room with the racking that you saw all the products stored on, the cooling for that system comes from here. Yes.
Machines generated.
These are all ammonia compressors.
And so we have redundancy capability?
Of course, that's for sure. Okay. Everything we do, we ensure that we build in redundancy.
So what do these generate here?
This is the refrigeration compressor. Right?
And then the tanks?
Then you have accumulators where you have liquids in there to generate that cooling process through heat exchanger, etc. On that side you have all the control system for this. These are the condensers that works with the refrigeration system.
It's a part of the refrigeration system.
Right. Because the compressor takes the saturated gas, liquid and gas that comes from the refrigeration rooms, turn it into high pressure gas. And that high pressure gas goes to the condenser, which cools it, because it's also high temperature when it leaves the compressor. It cools it and turns it back into liquid.
What happens in this area here?
This is a solar PV system control area. So what you're looking at there, those are inverters. They're 125 kilowatt each. So what happens is the energy the power that gets produced by these panels comes here. And each one of these units turns that DC power into AC.
Okay. From DC to AC, this is the converter here. And like you said, you don't have no battery storage yet, as yet. That's what I was told, right?
No. As soon as that becomes economical to invest in, I'm sure we're going to do that. That's a part of our plan.
Because you don't really work the factory at night, so it's not like...
Correct.
So it's not like you need it until you get into full production swing.
Exactly. And what you're seeing here are all the interconnection to the solar. We have 2 standby Generacs, as well as the utility grid that comes into here. From here it gets distributed to the electrical room you saw earlier. Okay. From there into the plant.
So your interconnection with BEL would be in this room here? Okay. push underground cables, huh?
Yes.
That this young man has to dig up. Anything goes bad with those cables that you have to deal with there, huh?
Yeah, well, that's part of the job.
We're now in your office where you monitor things, and I can see the dashboard. Is it dashboard SGF Belize? Explain this to me, what I'm looking at here.
So what you're looking at here is a SCADA system. This manages and monitor the supply of electricity from the BEL grid, standby generator, as well as the solar PV system.
Okay.
So everything gets controlled from here.
So the information, this is the information you're saying here that you produce 2,099 kilowatts?
No.
Where's this? Who's producing this?
That's the system.
That's your system information.
Here is where you can see right now what the solar system is producing.
It's producing 692.80 kilowatts right now, as we speak.
Exactly.
And of this you're using?
We're exporting.
Oh, you're exporting 430.
The facility is using 262.
262. So you're exporting more than you're using right now.
Exactly. That's because of the low operation at this point in time today.
When your operation goes up, then obviously the picture changes here.
It does. It does.
Right.
We get to the point where the way we have it is that it tied down to 50. The minimum we can export into the grid is 15 kilowatts. And we've gotten to that point on more than one occasion. And the reason for that is to ensure that we don't have issues with BL grid.
Don't feel quite officially 100% self-sufficiency quota, 38% is self-consumption, and the surplus is 430.62 kilowatts.
That's what's going into the grid. That's what's going into the grid right now. It also monitor the greenhouse gases.
Greenhouse gases, what do you mean by?
Which is carbon emittance into
the carbon dioxide thing?
For today, we have saved 1.75 tons.
How does that carbon dioxide thing work?
You have fossil fuel, and fossil fuel have a lot of carbon in it, sulfur. And when you run that in engines, you create carbon dioxide, amongst other things. And with this system, you're not using fuel, so you're actually saving, putting those bad stuff into the environment.
Okay. Because if you were running, instead of using your solar power, you're running a generator, a fossil fuel generator, then you'll be putting a lot of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
That's exactly true.
Yeah. So basically what you're running here is a green operation, very, very green.
And our objective is to become 100% green.
Yeah. How far, 100%? How far are you from 100%?
I can tell you once batteries become economical to invest in and install in a system like this, that's when we will. I'd assume another year or two from now.
Because you're producing all the power you need on a day-to-day basis, right? Except at nights you might end up using the BL power.
Exactly, and when you have batteries, you can store your excess to use in the night.
Then you don't need the BL grill at all.
Correct. Right. That's correct.
Interesting. Well, gentlemen, it has been a wonderful experience here at Silkgrass Farms. I learned a whole lot. You know, you guys took me through from beginning to end, I would say, because we learned on how you produce your electricity, your power. We learned on how the raw products come into the factory and how they're processed, the care and that is taken when you're doing your work. We looked at the things that happen behind the scenes, that create the power to run the plant. You know, this has been an awesome experience for me and very much an eye-opening one. And I want to thank you all so much for it. I certainly enjoyed it. And I'm very proud as a Belizean to say that I feel so good that in my country, Belize, we have an investment like this that seeks to go full green, solar energy and what have you, that have a staff that's well trained and very professional and love what they're doing.
When you come with your team, what you've done to us is show us and bring the pride out in us on what we've actually done, because we don't let a whole lot of people in. You've come in, you're a partner now in regards to how we move forward. Getting our message across to the Belizean public and the world, the larger world, is critical for us, because I don't think there's any other model that I've ever read.
No.
And myself with Peter and Mandy, we keep creating these new areas of the model. I'm fortunate that I have good staff and good people who are flexible enough to be able to adapt to the changes and stuff, because some of them, although may sound a little crazy, when you get to the bottom of it, you find that there is some sound concepts that support them. I've been asked what happened to me 6 years ago. Why have I changed from the land clearer, traditional farmer, using all the pesticides and all this stuff? Basically, reality came when greening came and everybody started blaming everything else, when the truth of the matter was greening was just a wake-up call to say to us that we were abusing the soil. And if you're abusing the soil, you're not going to grow anything unless you continue the abuse, or you try to mitigate the abuse. So we changed everything then, and we started thinking about how do we build soil, how do we run a factory and run it in a different kind of way. No commodity, no monoculture. We try to diversify. We diversify our crops. We diversify our location of where we're planting our stuff. And the same concept of that from the agricultural side we brought back into the factory. And Jerry can speak for himself, but I think many a days he probably sat down at home in the early days and said, what's going on? How are we going to do this? We figured a way around it and we did it. The challenge now is to actually get it off the ground. I am fairly bullish and confident that it's going to happen. I try to relay that as much as possible to the people who work within the company. I think they feel the same way. I think we're all a little nervous about what's ahead of us. Not so much whether it is correct or correctly done and stuff. It's more just a challenge of getting established. And that's where you and your love team and stuff come in. You are a very good ambassador in the sense of getting that message out.
Well, I'm impressed by the quality of the products, really. From the first time when I experienced it and I saw the philosophy behind Silkgrass Farms, I said this is something good for our country, and it's a local Belizean initiative, and because it's Belizean, it has to be good.
Yeah. and that's the concept. That's the concept that we had. We wish that more people would engage, and they don't have to copy it, but there are parts of it that they can themselves also do and improve what they're doing.
If there are other institutions or people who like to come and learn more about Silkgrass Farms, can they do so? Are you open to that sort of thing, to share the knowledge on a first-hand basis?
We're trying to set up those avenues now, because we also believe that we're not just, we have to make money because the business has to...
Of course, business is business.
Yeah, but the business has to support everything that's around us, all of us, all of our families, keep the whole process going and to make it sustainable. That's the whole concept. Because in the first session we had with you, we were talking about in perpetuity and all this sort of concept and languages. But we have a strong culture of continuous learning, always trying to learn. You know, we have the concept of more from less. It's not waste until you waste it. All these, they sound catchy and they might sound even a little nerdy, but in fact, if you practice them and you fix it in integrity and reality, truthful reality, then education then becomes the next step. So we're going to be doing a fair bit of research. We're doing it already. And our next avenues that we'd like to go with one of our other sessions when we speak about
I want to come back.
when we speak about the preserve and the carbon credits and all that sort of stuff, is to hook up with learning institutions where we can have students in, where we can exchange knowledge, where we can make money from education, not students paying us, but that the education and the research and stuff that we're doing here is meaningful enough that somebody wants to pay for it, or we dispense of it. So instead of chopping down a tree to sell a log, we're going to be selling information or selling knowledge or selling systems or selling something that's a lot different than destroying what we have.
It's an opportunity for us to be able to give you guys a tour today, walk you all through the processes of how we do things here, explaining the ins and outs. It was honestly an opportunity to be able to do that for you guys, as well as Doc said, you guys are a good transmitter of information out there. So
Thank you.
I'm sure it's going to help us to grow.
Thank you so much for that opportunity, my brother. All the very best. All right?
All right, well, as Doc said, you're a good transmitter, but for me, I would hope that the pride we feel here as workers, as employees of building this, could be transmitted to the Belizean people. Because when we look at what we've done, we do feel a great sense of pride. And this is Belizean. So I would like Belizeans to know that and understand that what we have built is something we can all be proud of.
Is Belizean. Henry, I'll give you the last word before I go.
Well, it's interesting listening to Daryl because Daryl is Trinidadian, he's no Belizean. And from he came 4 years ago to work with us, he made it a point that he wanted to see this built, commissioned, and see where it's going to go. And 4 years later, we've done it. So he saw it like a marker in the sand to say that yes, it is working. No, I think that one of the greatest benefits, Renee, outside of your telling our story and telling it in a way that you so emotionally and so dramatically speak about our businesses and the things that we're doing. Beyond that, I think today was a very special day for me to just watch your engagement with my staff.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
My staff, from probably the lowest ranking employee to the highest ranking employee, and you had them engaged, but they also surprised me and made me extremely proud to say that they also believe and they are committed to what we're doing. I don't know if you picked up that same vibe.
I did. I felt a lot of love, throughout the whole.
So that made me very proud, and it gives me a lot more ganas to continue on the path that we're going. A few changes, but I think that enabling our employees is probably one of the most important things that we could ever do.
And I couldn't agree with you more, because our employees really are what makes things happen. People who work with us are what make things happen, who can share the vision of moving forward, who can experience the love, and who can share the love for something, That is important. So with that, we will say thank you for showing the love, because that's what we felt here at Silkgrass Farms. Lots of love. And like Henry says, you can come to and experience some of the love, and it's all about Belizean love, because the products are Belizean products. And whenever it's Belizean products, what can I say? We love. It's the best love we can ever have, is a love for what our country produces. So we say, Belize and beyond, thanks for choosing love.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You that you